And we are live back with the Strictly Apple podcast. My name is Alex.
And I'm Landon.
And we are back to wrap up a little bit about Apple's announcement week, the M4 lineup week. 2 days ago, the recent podcast that you all have been listening to, we talked about the new iMacs. We talked about the new Mac Mini lineup and $599, I believe.
$599. New look to the Mac Mini, more of a Mac Studio look.
Yep, yeah, it's a lot smaller, 5 by 5 inches or so.
Yep, 5.5.
Shout out to Mac Rumors. We were using some of their latest lineup breakdown in their editorials. So shout out to Mac Rumors. 9 to 5 Mac had put out just a little bit ago. As I said, I dive deep into all the editorials, see what everybody's talking about. Their opinions on the matter. I love 9 to 5 Mac, so we're kind of use them to kind of break down a couple of their opinions and get Landon's opinion on that, being on the end user, and then also reinstallments of Mac. So the final installment of the week's announcements, Apple posted a 17-minute event video unveiling the new M4 MacBook Pro lineup. The M has the new M4 in it. There's a higher-end 14-inch and a 16-inch powered by M4 Pro and M4 Max, which I'm not too... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the difference. I'm not that interested in technology as far as, the power and the, all the little bits and pieces that David and all the techs put together. But there is an entry-level 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M4 as well as a higher-end, like we had said before, comes in this space black color option for the first time, which I'm kind of excited about. There's been a couple of black options before. I think it's the one that inspired me to get a MacBook a long time ago.
They had the 2007 or 2008 black computer, and there was a black and there was a white one.
It was the PowerBook, or I forget what that's called.
I don't remember. It was iBook or something of that nature. It was an older one. It looked pretty good. Back then, I would say it looked good. Now it looks like just a old computer. But Apple's been doing that thing where they have... So initially, they had the 13-inch. They no longer have the 13-inch. They went with the M1, M2 13-inch, cut it out, and then created the M3 14-inch, right?
We're going big.
1 inch makes a difference. So they have the M4, then they had the M4 Pro, then they had the M4 Max, M4 Pro Max, M4 Max. I don't know the pros in front of the Max. And then, do they still have the Ultra, or was that just in the Mac Studios?
I think that was just in the Mac Studios.
Because they had the Ultra.
I can't. I'll confirm.
Because it was the M1 Ultra. And I'm not sure if they continued that. Maybe it was too much. I know the Max got up to $7,500. If you max out a MacBook, we had a customer have one 6 months ago, and we were transferring data to it.
By the way, all this is talking about Mac Studio. There's no other models.
Okay, so that's all Mac Studio.
That's all Mac Studio.
So but they just introduced the MacBook Pro, M4.
M4, yep.
M4.
But the M1 Ultra was only that Mac Studio.
Only the Ultra was the Mac Studio. Okay, and I didn't. They said initially that they were going to potentially put that into a MacBook. I know the price would have been crazy.
Yeah.
And there's so many different processors. Even with Intel, they had i3, i5, i7, i9, and that was their processors. So now they have the M4, the M4 Pro, the M4 Max, and then they had the M1 Ultra. I don't know if they take that away entirely. Does the new Mac Studio, or does the most recent Mac Studio have the Ultra lineup and the processor? I'm not sure. I don't remember ever since like M1 Ultra. I don't know if they have that. But I don't even know if the Mac Studio now has the M4.
It does. So Mac Studio, this is straight off of Apple. Mac Studio now delivers next generation power in the form of the lightning fast M2 Max and the incredible M2 Ultra.
Okay. So the Ultra is just a studio,
I believe,
processor from what we can tell.
Can you tell the difference? I know you have the Ultra at your desk, and then you carry around this laptop.
I don't know. Well, with what I do, I can't tell the difference.
Correct.
I'm not doing, I'm not making movies.
Yep.
Though that or crazy editing type of thing. A lot of my stuff can be done off of my phone. But I will say that there has to be some difference depending on, how many things you have open, how many things are working at once. Now, is the price worth it? If you make a living doing video editing, it might be worth it to have a little faster computer. The processing power is going to be much faster. Then yes, if that's your main piece that you use to make a living, yeah, it's probably worth it. But still, $7,500 for a computer is crazy. And that was just the M Max. That's not the M Ultra, and I don't think they're going to come out with the M Ultra.
You imagine having an M Ultra and like a, I don't know, like a MacBook Air.
Oh, I don't think they'll ever do that. I don't think they'll ever do that. And the main reason is the price point.
And now I'm dumb. And you, yesterday I saw you after everything was going on. I know we had, a tech out, and I saw you back there putting together a phone.
Yes.
Like the old days.
Like the old days. I don't typically do too many repairs. It makes me realize, yesterday made me realize how rusty I was.
Now, do you think the reason I said that was because how rusty? I saw you like looking at a screw, and I'm like, oh man.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
The
go.
screws are smaller than I remember.
And your hands are huge. Actually, one of the techs asked me the other day, they're like, can you do this little tiny screw? It was Christian. I was like, I knew these nimble little fingers would come in handy.
Yeah,
for a
there you
reason.
go. Finally came in handy.
But do you think when you were breaking up that phone, or I forget, it was an iPad you were working on, do you think something like the Ultra, the M2 Ultra, something could fit inside of those phones? Or do they make it so compact that?
No, I think eventually, Apple is already multiple phones and multiple processors. They're probably working on the M7 right now.
Yep.
Because of how big that company is, things take years to create. So when you even see, I'll make it easier for the listeners. Whenever you see the iPhone 16, that thing's been good since, I don't even know. It's been good for a while.
Yeah.
There isn't like last second touch-ups they have to do on this. Because you got to think, they're doing these millions of phones for millions of people all over the world. This stuff is done years ahead.
Even with
of time.
signing NDAs and whatnot, I'm sure it's
paperwork
to
make sure. Yeah.
But you think about it. So say the iPhone 16, in my opinion, right, has probably been good since, I don't know, 2023, the beginning of 2023.
Probably, I would say
how locked down that is to not let that secret go.
Oh, it would be, and I'm sure there's stuff that Apple's working on. Even with like the Vision Pro, people had a rumor, right? Obviously, Mac rumors that they come up with this stuff. But I don't think, there's NDAs that you will not only lose your job, but you will.
Do you think here, this is kind of like the podcast where it goes, aliens and whatnot. Do you think that they kind of like Mac rumors, but like an official representative says, okay, I'm going to leak something just to get the people going? Do you think they do that, or do you think it's all?
I think they have YouTubers, MKBHD.
Yep.
He's obviously, the biggest tech YouTuber there is, arguably.
Do you think there's somebody that calls like, hey, this is not Apple, but also?
I don't know. I don't necessarily know a ton about that, but I would assume if I was a brand as big as Apple, I would leak some stuff.
Right.
To get people talking. Right. And then, yes. And, there's obviously going to be some people that, that work at Apple be like, hey, I can't tell you this. But depending on how high up you are and, what your NDA is and things of that nature. But I would assume that they do leak things on purpose, kind of, a little bit, and go from there. Because you have to get the websites talking, especially, the iPhone's the biggest release of the year, every year. So I think that, getting that information out there to people and having them think of what it is before they actually put it out is a big deal.
Right on. All right, so the M4 MacBook Pro, we talked about, comes in this space black color, which I'm totally excited for. I'm big on black aesthetic. I think we all are, if you can't tell.
Yep. I'm
black on black. It's just kind of how the trend goes. Apple says the M4 chip is up to 1.3 times faster than the M3 model it replaces. It also, I don't like it when they say replaces, because honestly, it's going to take me a while to get to the M3 chip.
Yep.
At this point.
Yep.
It also supports outputting to 2 external displays at the same time, which is huge. Coming from someone in my point of view, doing photo and video. I remember when I had gotten I think I've got an M1 model right now, and first thing I did, when I was going to upgrade, I'm like, what can I do, to export these sort of things? Because I had to get a dongle. I also had to get a dock, and right now, like when I go home, my whole big setup is literally, I got 2 external monitors, and then my MacBook Pro itself, my desk that I set up, one is going through HDMI, just straight out of my Lightning port, my Thunderbolt port, USB-C port, and another one it sits on a dock, and then it goes to, I forget what that thing. It's not HDMI, DisplayPort, DP.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, and but this is big because it says the reason I'm talking about this is 2 external displays at the same time. When I do that, and I'm just horrible at it, but my USB-C port to HDMI to one external monitor and one display port to another one, there are 2 different color effects. So when I'm editing, I literally have to do my fine tune, my color grading, everything on my MacBook. I can do everything else like up there, but it won't look the same.
That's why we go back to Apple. We talked about this last week with the Apple Studio displays.
Yeah.
And those are supposed to be the same as your computer.
Yeah.
Especially the XDR display, maybe even better than your computer. And it's a lock-in system because you can't necessarily you have to have an incredible display in order to get the same editing quality as your screen. Screens on MacBooks are top of the line.
Yeah.
Better than any computer out there.
And the reason I could tell was I literally exported a video project to a big client at the time. I exported a video project. I'm like, huh? Yeah? You love it? You love it? And they're like, why do we look sunburnt? Like, what is going on?
Yep.
You know?
No.
So this is pretty big.
And I did a quick Google search because I had somebody ask me the other day about what computers can export to or be connected to multiple screens. A lot of people want 2 screens, 3 screens. And a quick Google search will tell you this, and this is before the M4 came out, but I have this information. So the MacBook Pro with the M2 Max or the M3 Max, and I'm assuming the M4 Max, can support up to 4 external displays at once, depending on the resolution and refresh rate of each display.
Okay.
So what I would assume would be you can have 4 Mac Studios displays, Studio displays connected to your M Max. Which 4 is incredible, but you also have to think of the price point there.
Yeah,
those things are $1,500 a piece.
4 is my car.
$6,000 plus a Max chip.
Right,
is another minimum $4 grand. $10,000 to be able to have 4 displays. Now you don't have to have those studio displays, but in order to have the correct resolution on your screen, you have to have a very good quality display.
Right. It's just my mortgage for a year.
Exactly. Yeah, that's that's crazy. So the MacBook Pro with M1, M2, and M3 Pro chip can support up to 2 displays with a resolution of up to 6K or 60 hertz.
You're pushing it though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like if I get a base model,
if
I get 16 gig.
That's a Mac. That's okay. This is a MacBook Pro with the M1 or the M series Pro chip. So it's not the base model 14-inch that you can buy now.
I don't think mine could do that, but no.
Yours could do it.
Could it?
Your Mac you have an M1 Max, I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty positive. It's like 32 gig of RAM. You have a very good computer.
You know that, and I don't even know what it is.
Well, we set you up with it.
Oh, okay.
Got you connected with it. That's how I know. And then the other thing was MacBook Air, MacBook Pro with M3 chip. So just the chip, not the Pro chip, just the M3, can support 2 external displays when the lid is closed. So, which makes
when the
great
lid is
sense,
closed.
Because if you have a M3, if you have an M series computer, right? M3 and up can do 2 external displays, but your computer has to be closed. Any of the M series Pro chips can support 2 external displays with your lid open. M Max chip, M2 Max and up, can support up to 4 external displays at once, depending on the resolution and refresh rate of each display. So it can do up to 4, but you have to have good screens.
Yeah.
And a expensive computer. Now, the last thing here, Mac Mini with Apple Silicon M1, M2, and now, assumably, the M4, can support up to 6 external displays with the use of adapters.
Okay. So
now, I'm not sure what the adapters part means.
We got a dongle up, too.
You got dongle up.
Because
That's funny.
You're talking about the Mac dongle up with the Mac Mini. You're talking about the Mac Mini, too, right?
Yeah.
Because the Mac Mini only has so many ports at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it says up to 6. M1, any Mac Mini M series it up. 6
displays?
6, this is what Google
get
search gave me. 6 displays is crazy. And especially with, the M1, is that saying a base model, 8 gig 256?
There's no way.
We don't use, we're a tech company and we sell tech, but we don't we have nobody here that has 6 computers. We have a couple people that have 2, but that's really it. There's not really anybody using more than 2. 6 computers, you'd have to have a lot going on for 6 screens.
Now, okay, so like I've been in like inner workings of like Meta, right? So I've been to a lot of different Facebook headquarters, going through in their coding departments. Those guys, when they turn their screens vertical, they've got 4 or 5 running at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, and you walk by and they shut them all off.
Yeah.
And they look at you really awkwardly. But those guys rock. But I've never seen 6.
6 is a lot.
Yeah.
Especially, I will say, off of 8 M1 256 8 gig can run 6 screens.
Yeah.
That's base model. They just released, it's the lowest now is 512 16 gig.
And you know what?
M4.
And when you put it in that perspective, running 6 monitors, which may not sound crazy to a normal,
Somebody that does it.
Somebody that doesn't. But honestly, when they talk about, this one has 1.3 times faster, 2 times the power, that kind of stuff, that's where I realize it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
There's
6 monitors.
Right.
Holy crap.
I'm
so ADHD, I don't think I could watch
6
things at
monitors
once.
would be crazy. You'd have to be doing a lot. You have to have a lot of screens pulled up. I'm assuming, maybe you would like it. You use multiple screens here and at home.
I do.
But you don't use 6.
I know.
6 is a lot.
3 is pushing it for me.
Right.
I can't hardly look at my phone when I have 3 screens.
And it makes me think too, why can the Mac Mini use 6, but the M1 Max or the M4 Max, why can it only use 2?
I bet you could use more with a dongle.
I don't know.
We're going to press it.
Who knows?
We're going to press it the first time we find one.
Yes. Just connect it. See how many screens we get up. We'll make a whole wall of TVs.
Right. Okay. So to end this one out, as far as the MacBook Pro goes, the specs on it: higher end M4 MacBook Pro with M4 Pro and M4 Max push the performance ceiling, as well as touting the Thunderbolt 5 ports, which we talked about last time, and ultra fast data transfer. Yeah, they're on the website right now. Thunderbolt 5, I know we don't know much about it yet.
Nope.
As far as pushing processor speeds and transfer data rates, whatnot. I'm assuming it has a lot to do with how we're going to display things on 8K, whatnot, especially with the ultras. So anywho, that's that. I know we really haven't seen one yet. They're out on the website. They'll be up for November 8th, I believe, to come out.
Yeah.
So it'll be really
I'm sure it'll be big. You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday about the M4 series, and they said, what do you think about the M4? And I'm like, well, I think it's good. I just feel like Apple's doing the same thing every year. Every year there's a new chip. And I think on one of the first episodes that we did, we talked about, or I mentioned about, like, what if Apple didn't put something out every year?
Yeah.
Like, what if next year we don't have the iPhone 17? What if we wait 1 year? They'd make some improvements that people like, because there's no, other than the processor and the look, and there's not even a difference in the look.
Yeah.
It's the same computer every year, different processor.
Yeah.
And I know they need to have things that come out. They need to have computers that come out every single year. But what if they waited a year? Everybody bought the M3. The value of the M3 stays up, or the M4, whatever that year is, and then they wait one entire year and create something, and it's a different look, maybe small, but it's a different look. It's a different colors. I think MacBook Pro color wave would be sick. I think people would love to buy an orange or red MacBook.
Yeah.
Which would create a lot of different colors.
You think maybe that's what's going to be next?
I don't know. Well, you got to think everything's colored with Apple. This is a whole nother topic, but everything is colored with Apple. So you have the iMacs. I mean, we got the rainbow. I mean, genuinely, they're all the colors, right? The AirPod Max, all the colors. The iPhones now, multiple different colors. The Apple Watches are more of like a bronzy color type of deal, but there's multiple different colors. MacBook is the only thing that Apple's never went away from either a black, a white, or a space gray or titanium finish, or stainless steel. Rose gold. I guess they did a rose gold.
Did rose gold.
Which was a cool color. And they did a couple different rose golds.
But you know how Apple does aesthetics too, because, I mean, if you think about it, right now, the majority of the stuff, unless you're talking about sports bands and Nike sports bands, whatnot, everything that has to do with Apple Watches is, how do you call them? Natural color tones.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you have earth tones. That's what I'm looking for.
That's the word.
Earth tones. Especially with phones, they start to, get into the pink, the purple, the blues, which I saw a blue color the other day, like a deep midnight blue. I'd never seen before.
They had the midnight blue, or the bluish, I forget the exact color, but it's titanium blue. Yeah. That's the new phone comes in the blue, or the 15 came in a blue.
Yeah.
It's a dark, deep blue.
Yeah.
Looks good.
And do you think and I know there's a big science behind it, and I'm sure there is a whole divisions of Apple that have to do with the whole research and development of, they go out and they're like, okay, MacBook users, they want the black. I want the black. How did they know that I wanted black? You know what I mean?
That takes you to the Apple Watch Ultra they just came out with.
Yeah,
that's black.
Black titanium, I think.
And it looks beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. So that powered. We should have seen that coming. Then we should have seen that coming. The MacBook Pro.
Yes.
With the Apple Watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see the titanium black watch coming. Black watch. This the Ultra came out that has a titanium. It's a good finish, but it doesn't actually match anything. Black matches pretty much everything. You can match it with anything.
Right.
Especially if you're wearing it on a daily basis. It looks great. I don't have one yet. I do want to get one. We'll get one here soon. But it's a cool looking finish. It's a cool thing. And I think Apple's going to change to different colors eventually, and they've been getting there.
Have you are you back when you were just Landon the tech guy back in the day, this Apple symbol?
Yes.
They used to light up when I was in college?
They lit up until the 2015 MacBook Pro.
Dude, I don't know
was
how
the
you
last
split that
year.
Off. I don't know how
and
you
they
split
lit up until the 2017
You
MacBook
think we're going to see
Air.
that again?
No.
Dude, I was just thinking about this. How dope would this be if the Apple symbol, right? If we were able to do, because everybody's about RGB and gaming, change the color of your Apple symbol.
I don't know. That would be sick because I know, like, even in the car, you can change colors of stuff, and I think Apple is leaning towards the color thing because like everything wants to be a certain color. I think eventually, and I know people have made certain colors of AirPods, like they've painted them and stuff like that. I think Apple might lean to that one day. I don't know.
Even
if
getting
it's
from
out their style.
I get excited about this stuff. Even coming from like a social aspect. So say they only stuck with like 2 base models of MacBook Pro. This is me in my illusion world, right? They MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, right? You get space gray, or you get black, right? But people see you in public. You're typing on your computer, and in a restaurant, or you're in the lobby of a hotel. Depending on what color your Apple symbol is, are you available to talk? Are you busy at the time? Are you live recording?
It's like a do not disturb for the public.
I'm live recording. My Apple symbol is red right now. I'm on the phone. It's green and it's flashing.
Yep.
Don't talk to me. Or it's like hey, this is my symbol of pride for my group. We made our own color.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You could. I think the changing that color is a big thing. I know they could do it. So here's the thing that I've ran into is everything with technology is possible.
Yeah.
And most of the thing that you think about has already been done. That's in the process of working to be done.
Right.
But I will say that there's a lot that goes into that because, changing that color on the back, how thin the computers are. Because as a consumer, you want a lightweight, thin device to carry around for a computer.
Correct.
Well, adding a light in there would thicken the screen. Also, whenever you change the screen, if it gets broken, there's a lot of things to think about on that line of things as well. I think Apple will continue to advance their colors with different things. I would like them to come out with a, even a rose gold MacBook, some type of color. I think would do very well. I don't know if people would buy a yellow computer, maybe a just gold computer, or green. Are they going to do the forest green like the iPhone 13 had? Maybe, maybe not. I think they produce certain colors for smaller things like iMac. Obviously, they produced a couple different colors. It did great. And then after, sorry about the call, it did great. But after the iMac was established, they're like, okay, well, let's do the AirPod Max, or let's change colors in certain different things.
Right.
MacBook, I think the Pro versions, they have the Midnight and the Airs. They have the bluish color.
Yep.
So are they going to make more colors that pop? Right, orange, yellow, green, blue.
But you have to keep the people coming, so you can only do it in small amounts.
Yes.
Yep.
And the other thing is too is when I feel like my mind goes to a production side of things. So when you have if you came out with a pink MacBook, right, you have to have that pink MacBook in every single color, every single size, every single processor, every single storage, all that, right? Then you have to create it. And
That's a lot.
What if it flops?
Yeah.
Right. So there's things about that, and Apple has so much.
Has there been anything that really flopped?
I think the Vision Pro kind of flopped.
You're still on that?
I'm still on the Vision Pro flop.
Yeah. Why? Every time I've only put it on a couple times. and dinosaurs getting ready to eat me and stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then
but
you
it's
put it
not-
on, you're like, I feel like you're a hard man to please at this point.
I would say the amount of people that use the Vision Pro on a daily basis,
price point flopped.
price point flopped. $1,000 different.
Yeah.
3,500 for a base model.
Yeah.
Flop.
Yeah.
Especially if there's still wires attached. So
You don't see much about it anymore.
no, you don't see much about it. I don't know if they'll discontinue it. I know it's something that they've been in the works. Steve Jobs even mentioned something like this.
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Right.
I think once they get it to a pair of actual glasses, it would be huge.
Yeah.
Or something that is.
I think Meta will beat them to it too.
Oh yeah, Meta's going to beat them to it. They already have the Ray-Bans with the
Well, I'm
cameras
talking
in them,
about like
or
full-fledged
full
AR.
Yep, they might. And I think whenever that happens, it might be a little more useful. Right now, it's kind of. I don't think the Vision Pro is very useful.
Right.
And I don't see anybody using it on a daily.
Yeah.
Even if you have Zoom meetings every day or you're on FaceTime, with your work, I don't see you using that device every single day.
I can see it. You just imagine, imagine you don't have any screens in you make more office space aesthetically pleasing in your office. There's no screens. There's no Mac Ultra or, Studio in there with a screen on it. And then you're literally typing on your laptop, you can come up and go. And then when you're done talking to somebody, you throw on a pair of sunglasses or a pair of glasses, and all of a sudden your screens pop up.
See, that would be
right.
That would be ideal.
Would that diminish the need to sell the screens, the high-end screens?
I don't know if we'll ever get away from actual high-end screens.
Yeah.
Because of how clear. I don't know. Thing is, 20 years from now, think of where we came in 17 years from the iPhone. And technology is only going faster now because we have technology to build technology, right? I don't know. There's a lot that goes into that. This is just guessing and speculating for the next 30 years, but I guess that is a question. If you're watching this or listening to this, if you have a Vision Pro, do you know someone that uses it every single day? A Vision Pro, that $3,500 device, one of the best AR sets that is out there. Do you use it every single day? Or is it like it's on the couch and the recliner thing right there where the remotes are?
Right.
Or, mine is next to my bed, but I never use it.
Right.
I haven't used the thing. It's sitting there. It's definitely dead.
Yeah.
Do you use your Vision Pro every single day? That thing that was paid for $3,500. Just crazy to think about, man. And compared to, what a MacBook is, you can look at MacBooks that are $4,000, but they give you so much more power. There's so much more storage. There's so much more stuff that can be done.
Right.
So, yeah, let us know if you use your Vision Pro every day, or if you don't.
All right, let's get cracking into this really quick before we shut down. Apple Intelligence and Siri.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I want to talk about this.
Yes. So we went through it. You saw the last podcast or listened to the last podcast that we'd put out. Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence. It still says beta on mine. When you go into the actual settings, see up top.
Yes.
Okay.
I think mine says beta as well.
So I had to update just for those.
You have to request the wait list.
So for those who are listening, who are like, I still don't have it, press that cool side button, which I got to tell you a couple things about that happened yesterday.
Okay.
You actually have to upgrade to 18.1. So go in there, update your software to 18.1, and then you have to, as Landon had just said, you have to request Apple Intelligence and Siri.
And it's right there in your settings. Go down under General Accessibility Action button, Apple Intelligence and Siri.
Yeah, Siri. Yeah. So Siri, I can't even say that every time you say it. You were like, just do it, within a couple minutes. I actually, I had to wait I would say 24 hours.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Mine was done in 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. And maybe I checked it for the first 5-10 minutes and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And I checked it that night, nothing happened.
Oh, really?
But the next day, halfway through the day, I saw it.
I did, yeah.
So so sometimes it takes a little bit, but maybe it's just because, I had it on low power mode, wasn't connected to Wi-Fi.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I haven't dove too deep into it, but I will say too, and I wasn't expecting it. Yesterday, it was right before you had called me and I was with family in the car. I was like, oh, hey guys, check this feature out on my phone. I pulled up Apple CarPlay. I had Apple CarPlay plugged in Apple CarPlay, right? And I hit the Apple Intelligence button, the Siri button, Siri.
Yep.
The Siri button. It didn't do it on my phone. I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's weird. And my boy, he goes, Dad, what's wrong with your screen?
It's on the side of the screen, wasn't it?
no. He goes, what's wrong with your screen? Because I'm like, look, guys, I'm trying to show this. And everybody's like, nothing's happening. They thought I was an idiot. And I'm like, oh, man, I just don't know how to use it right. I'm hitting the wrong button. And he goes, what's wrong with your screen? He was talking about my CarPlay screen.
Oh.
Around the CarPlay symbol, it was happening.
Dude, okay, so
Like on the actual car itself.
it's
which is
extremely weird. And we'll go into a couple different things that it does.
What's that?
What?
What is that?
That's ChatGPT.
Oh.
On my lock screen, it's one of my
for some reason I was
widgets.
Okay.
I
thought it was that symbol. Look at that.
Oh, no. Yeah, I guess it's pretty close. That's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Rewound.
The Apple Intelligence, the Siri, will literally pick up your voice from anywhere.
Yep.
It was weird. I was listening to the podcast that we did, episode 3. I was listening to on the way to work today, just to go over, made sure I remembered what we talked about and things like that. But I listened to that podcast, and when I was saying Siri on the podcast that was connected to my phone through my car, my phone was going off, and the thing 3 times it happened within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I said it multiple times, and it picked it up a couple times. But I used it today. What's the weather? What's the time? What's it looking like today? That type of thing. And it worked really well. 2 things that it also does is it will give you suggested replies to text messages.
Yep.
Now, I've known that we had
that.
something similar to this before, like
Right.
kind of. But this one specifically is like responding to their message. Like, okay, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Or good night.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. And specifically, even in emails, it will tell you a brief summarization of what the email is.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I will say that the couple emails that I saw this on, it wasn't accurately describing it like I think it should have.
Yep.
But that will get better through time.
Yep.
You know, when iOS 19 and iOS 20 come out, it's going to be top of the line. I already know. But it is something that is insane. It's crazy to think about. And it's just showing you more and more of what your phone can be. I think we will eventually be able to, I could say, hey, text so-and-so right now. Right. I can do this. And it will send that text message straight through, and it puts your punctuality. It will put certain emojis that you normally use. It will put your Animoji if you want to put your Animoji. It will do multiple different things that is not normally done.
There's some dangerous options that I did look through a couple basic options when I first got it. One of them was messaging with Siri. I'm like, okay, this should be interesting. I thought it would give me message prompts, that I could automatically do. One of them says toggle on and off. Mine's off right now. Send messages, automatically send messages. So to send messages quickly, without Siri asking you to confirm before sending, you turn it on. Right?
Right.
So if you're
Siri responses?
Yeah.
I prefer spoken request.
See? Send
Automatically send.
messages with Siri.
That is interesting.
Go down.
Oh, what is this? I have automatically send messages.
Yeah. So it'll send it, and you're like, no, it's totally not what I meant to say. She won't say, are you sure?
Oh. Turn off.
Turn off.
Yeah. No, I would rather say, are you sure?
Right.
But I also think that it's getting to the point where it might be able to transcribe what you're saying that clearly that it's like, why say yes afterwards?
Okay. And for all those dog lovers out there, right? My dog had gotten to something not too long ago and has this one spot where actually he's at the vet this morning, and I had some cortisone cream in there, and I wanted him to be not itching anymore, right? So I literally asked, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try the new Siri. I can't. I'm trying so hard, dude. Try the new Siri update, the Apple Intelligence, and I said, hey, is cortisone cream okay to put on dogs? And instead of, I was like, whoa. It said, and it spoke it out loud. Instead of it said, this is what I found on the internet, right? It said, yes, cortisone cream is okay to put on dogs. And then it gave you the reference file that you can click on.
Yes.
But I'm just like, what?
That is great. I'm going to try that when I get home today.
Did I? No, because I still wasn't sure about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I've always, even with the HomePods at home, I'll say, hey, Siri, yada, yada, yada. And I'll say, open your phone to do this. I would like for, eventually it's all going to go there and say, yes, it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Like you said, is that cortisone cream okay to put on dogs? Yes, it is. And that's the answer that I want too.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how much we would trust.
Yeah, and that's why I
Siri
said
tells
that.
me.
I was just like, I'm still not sure. You know what I mean?
We're gonna trust it. You're gonna trust it.
I'll-
5-10 years.
Eventually, I'll trust it, but right now, yeah, it's so new. I'm like, hey, you're only 1 day old.
Here's what
calm
we'll do
down.
for the next until we have podcast next week. I'm going to use Apple AI and Apple Intelligence, and I'm going to set appointments. I'm going to remind me stuff, and I'm going to give you guys a good update. And we'll start the podcast off like that next week of how Siri actually works,
I like it.
how it's working.
Apple Intelligence.
Apple Intelligence.
Yeah.
The new Apple Intelligence, Apple Siri, and the multiple different things. And I'll go through and I'll try to see if I can have it replace my ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And see how that works.
And one more thing on that before we escape. I feel like Apple Intelligence has already been running through our system
It has been.
because
It's been collecting data.
It's been
to
collecting data.
Figure out.
because automatically, like you said, I think we had talked about in a podcast before, when I lay down in bed, it knows exactly which apps it suggests because of my
knows.
time of day.
It knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it knows us better than we know it. But
It knows. It knows. And it will tell you, there's a lot of different things, but it'll say, hey, you've been on this social media app too long.
right.
And there's timers and stuff you can put on Instagram and Facebook right now that tells you, like, hey, I put one on my Instagram that will say, hey, you've been on this too long.
Right.
Go to sleep.
And maybe we'll share in some posts and some stories, throughout the week too, kind of any tips and tricks that we might find.
Yes, absolutely.
I am full into it. It said, find out what more you can say, and there's a link to online, and I want to know what Siri can do for me in the next week that I don't have to do for myself.
Yeah, I think we're going to be able to use it. It'll be very beneficial as
Yep.
we continue to learn about it. But yeah, do you like Siri? Do you use Siri? Have you upgraded to the iOS 18.1 Apple Intelligence with the new Siri update? Let us know. And yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate it. My name's Alex,
I'm Landon.
and we'll see you guys next week.